Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about area and perimeter. The big thing to remember about area is that's the inside of something, or units squared, like inches squared, or if you're putting down tile or carpet or a face of something or the surface or you're going to cover. So area is, if you can describe it by like opening your hand and waving it around, you've got to cover it. That's area. Perimeter is the outside of something, and just the outside, not anything on the inside. You're just adding the edges, like around or a fence or a border or trim, rim, anything like that. And that's going to be in regular old units. It's not going to be square. Okay, so let's see if we can do some examples using our formula sheet. It says find the perimeter of the composite figure. So if you're doing the perimeter, you know you're going around. So let's look around and see what we're missing this right here, aren't we? So we've got to figure that out. Then we're just going to add up all of our sides. So I'm just going to start with the 4. I'm going to go ahead and just start, and then we'll figure out the side we're missing. And I'm going to go around clockwise. So 4 plus 9 plus 10 plus 2 plus 6, and then I'm going to go to my next line to figure out what I'm missing. Okay, well, if this line is going straight up and down, I'm going to have to use the other pieces that are going straight up and down to figure out what that missing part is. Okay, so whenever you're looking for something that's going straight up and down, you have to use the other parts that are going straight up and down. I've got a 9 and a 2. Well, I know this is shorter than 9, and I know it's bigger than 2. So if I took 9 minus 2 and got 7, and if I added 7 and 2 and got 9, I know that's the number I'm missing. So I'm going to go ahead and add 7, and that means my perimeter is 38 centimeters. Okay, if I was missing something that was going flat, right and left, then I would figure it out. Like, for example, if I needed this piece up here and I knew the 10 and the 6, I would take 10 minus 6 is 4. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, and this one says find the area of the composite figure. So I did find that this was 7 in the last problem, so we're going to put it there. You can cut it 2 ways. You can either go across here or you can go down here. I think I'm going to go ahead and go down here. Okay? And then I'm going to find the area of this big rectangle and then the area of this flat one that's on its side down at the bottom. So the area of a rectangle is LW. So if you look at your sheet, it is right here, and it starts with the letter A, area. Don't get that mistaken with anything. We're looking for area. So I'm going to type in L on one line and W on the next, or excuse me, LW on for the formula. Then L equals and W equals. Okay? So for the big one, I know that this whole side is 9 and that top side is 4. So I'm going to put in 9 and I'm going to put in 4. And that gives me 36. So I know the area of this rectangle is 36. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear that out. And I'm going to do the smaller one. Well, I know this top is 6 and this bottom is 2. So I'm going to use the 6 and the 2. 6 and the 2, which is 12. So if I want the whole area, that means I'm just going to have to add those two numbers together. So 36 plus 12 is 48. So my total area would be 48 centimeters, and its area, so it's squared. And that's my answer. Let's try another one and see what happens. All right, so I've got Greg wants to section off part of his backyard as shown below. How much fence will he need? So he wants to section off part of his yard, and he wants this part. Actually, I don't think so. I think he wants to know the whole thing. So we're going to have to find the perimeter here. This is an interesting problem. So let's read it one more time and make sure we understand it. It says Greg wants to section off part of his backyard with a fence that looks like this. So this whole white area is his backyard, and maybe he's building a fence around a swimming pool. Maybe that's what he's doing. So let's go ahead and help him. So if we're going around something, okay, we know that we are looking for perimeter. So first of all, let's see if we can label anything that we don't have. This is 12, this is 15. So we know this up here has to also be 15. Now this dotted line, we do not count that because it's on the inside, not the outside. And we've got to find this perimeter of a semicircle. Well, when I look at my formula sheet, right up here on the top right corner, circumference is the perimeter of a circle, except it goes all the way around. And this in our picture is a semicircle, so we only need half of the formula. Well, the formula is 2 pi r. So when we put it in our calculator, I'm going to put in 1/2 2 pi r. Okay? So the only thing my calculator does not know is the r, so I'm going to have to figure that out next. So if I know this entire side over here is 12, then I know this entire side here is 12. But that's a diameter, not a radius. Since it's a diameter, I'm going to put it in my calculator and divide by 2 to find my radius of 6. So that means I've got 18.8 meters of fence that I'm going to need there. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 18.8, and I'm going to add my 3 sides, 15, 12, and another 15. So that means I would need 60.8 meters of fence. Okay, so when you go to the store, you can't buy 60.8 meters of fence, so you're probably going to have to buy 61. All right, so just remember, when you're looking for fencing, that's perimeter, and if you're working with a semicircle, you've got to put that half in front of the circumference. Let's see what the next one looks like. All right, if he also wants to cover the area with mulch, so if you're covering, that means you're finding the area. We're going to have to find the area of these two things. First of all, I'm going to type in my calculator. I need to find the area of the rectangle. Then I'm going to add the area of a semicircle. And I typed that there just so I would remember what I needed to do. So I'm going to find my area, okay, of a rectangle. So I'm going to have to tell it what my length and width are. And I'm going to go ahead and put those here. My length is 12. My width is 15. So my whole area of my rectangle is 180. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to type 180 in the space of that. So I know I already found that. Okay? So now I have to find the area of my semicircle. So I'm going to come to my formula sheet. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So when I put it in Desmos, I'm going to put in 1/2. Okay. Pi r squared. That way I know I'm only getting the area of a semicircle. And I got to find my radius. Well, I know this entire thing is 12. It's a diameter, so to make it a radius, I got to divide by 2. So that means the area of a semicircle is 56.5. So that means my total area would be 236.5 meters squared. Okay, so that's how you do something like that. Let's see if there's another one. Ah, there is. This one looks very interesting. All right, first of all, it says Martha's designed a painting for art class. As shown in the drawing below, her design contains 4 circles on a square, that means all sides are the same, canvas. Each circle has a radius of 6. The circles touch the edges of the canvas and each other as shown. I think we're going to need that information. Let's think about it. The shaded section of Martha's design will be painted black. What's the closest to the area that will be painted black? All right, well, we know the radius of the circle, and we know when shapes are on top of each other, we're going to have to do some subtracting. When shapes are side by side, you add. But when they're on top of each other, you do the biggest one first. So we're going to do the area of the square. I'm just typing so I remember what I'm doing. And I'm going to subtract the area of 4 circles. So I'm actually going to put right up here in the front, I'm going to say, I have to multiply this by 4. All right? So I'm going to put a parentheses and a 4 in there just so I can remember that I'm going to have to multiply the area of a circle by 4. Okay, because there's 4 circles. But there's a problem here. I don't know my side of my square. Well, I think they told me how to find it. I just wasn't really, it's just a little bit different. I'm going to draw this line all the way across. Okay? This line here is the same as this side here. And if it's a square, they're all the same. Well, if this is 6 inches, then this has to be 6 inches. And then this has to be 6 inches. And this has to be 6 inches. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to take 6 times 4. Or I'm going to add 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. That gives me 24. That means the side of my square is 24. Okay? So now let's think about the formulas we're going to need. Well, the area of a square is length times width. And I know that my length is 24. We just figured that out. And I know my width is 24. We just figured that out. So that means the area of my square is 576. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. Now I need my area of a circle. These are full circles, so I need the entire formula. So I'm going to put in pi r squared. And we were told what the radius was this time. We were told the radius was 6. So that means each circle has an area of 113.1. And I know there's 4 of them, so I'm going to multiply that by 4. Okay? So I took the area of the square and subtracted the area of 4 circles. So I ended up with 123.6, which rounds to 124 inches squared. All right? Don't get confused. Just take your time, and I know you can figure this out.